happens, baby. That's what's been happening. Yeah. Too late now. It's on. Baby, who wants to love me sexy?
Now, this series of videos would probably be condemned to hell by Michael Parks in this film. I'm talking about Red State. Now, if you know me, and if you're one of my friends, then you're probably aware of how much I like Kevin Smith. I really don't think he can put a foot wrong. Like, I didn't think that Cop Out was as bad as everyone tried to make it out to be. Zack and Miri it's one of the films that I put on when there's nothing that I can really think of to put on. It's a good background film, but it's also a good film if you want to pay attention to it. And so I was really looking forward to seeing Red State. Like, I built it up in my head, and then I read reviews about it, and I watched videos about it. Like, I watched Brad's whole half-hour conversation with Jared when Jared was still involved about Red State. So I had Red State hyped up in my mind to be this career-shifting milestone for Smith, and then I heard all of the other loads of other people going, "Oh, it's crap! I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. It's shoddily shot. It's got too much wobbly cam and all of this crap." So I was kind of hoping for the best when I watched it. And I watched it, and it lived up to all of my expectations. Like, it takes an unrealistic situation with three boys going to try and get laid via the internet with an old lady, and it makes it believable. Like, Kevin Smith's writing of characters is one of the best things that he can do. It's one of those things that he's just naturally gifted with doing. Like, I know he said in interviews and in the Evening with Kevin Smith DVDs that he writes the world as he wishes it would be, so everyone speaks in prolonged diatribes and monologues and soliloquies, and they're incredibly verbose and clever, and this sometimes is a setback with his films. Like, the characters aren't really generally as believable as ultimately they should be, but in this, all of the characters are incredibly believable. Michael Parks he's not terrifying, he's incredibly intimidating, and that comes across through his sermons and just Michael Parks in himself. His character in this is incredibly well acted, and some of the issues that people had with this film were its self-aware address of the Westboro Baptist Church, and I thought it was done very well. They didn't bring attention to it as much attention to it as they could have. It's essentially just brought down to 2 sentences that John Goodman says in his kitchen, where he says, "Oh no, you're thinking about Fred Phelps and those people down in Alabama," and then he follows it up with, "No, these people at the Cooper's church lot, it's like they're doers, not sewers," which I thought was a quick and easy way to address this and sets it in the real world and makes it more believable. The other thing was the ending. Like, I do agree with Brad Jones, it would have been the best film ever if it had ended where it tries to make you believe that it ends. Like, if the rapture had happened at the end, then it would have been good. I would have liked to have seen God come down and give Michael Parks a slap in this film, because I'm not particularly one to like religion, so religious extremism is something that pisses me off, and the Westboro Baptist Church are some of the most disgusting and despicable human beings on the planet. Now, Michael Parks and the Coopers Church, they can't actually say anything bad about this, but Westboro Baptist Church exists in the real world, so fuck you guys. Come on, fucking... I'm a whore and a sodomite. So, yeah, Red State is... It's really good. If the rapture had happened at the end, it would have taken it that one step further on than it was, but it would have taken it out of the real world setting. Whereas, where it ended, it was a little bit of an easy fix, but at the same time, it was still good enough for the film, and quite typical of Kevin Smith and his writing. Now, the other thing, the main thing to take away from Red State is that it's pretty much an indictment of everything. It's an indictment of religious extremism, governments running amok and doing whatever they want, like the way the government deals with this, and the way. The other self-aware thing is it references the Waco event as well, because John Goodman at one point says, "Oh, our government's not really. We haven't really dealt with situations like this in the past very well," and it deals with this in quite a mature way. And John Goodman's morality that comes through is something that makes him a compelling character. It's like he's not willing to kill children, but the government's telling him to do that so that it's quick and easy. But ultimately, he goes against his orders and blah 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 blah. So it's an indictment of the Patriot Act, religious extremism, people not getting on, killing children, and various other things, which take Kevin Smith's game from being dick and fart jokes to something quite politically driven and morally driven, and as such it becomes something more than a horror film, because it's just amazing. I'm biased on this, by the way, as you can probably tell, but at the same time, it's still a very, very good film. So if you've not seen it, it is a genre shift for Smith, but it's done well. Now the wobbly cam stuff, there is a little bit too much of that. It's not well done, for the most part. Most of the action is well orchestrated and well edited together in order to bring across the feeling of confusion and action, and the disorientation of the situation, which it does achieve. Like, it is good, but the one thing that I found getting pissed off about with this was, and it's only a small thing, is about 5 or 6 times he uses this one technique of special wobbly cam, where you know the effect that they've done in so many music videos, where they strap a camera to essentially the front of someone's face and then make them run around or do stupid stuff or drink or do drugs or whatever, and then it expresses their disorientation. Well, it does that, and it's just lazy and fucking annoying. Like, if I wanted to see shots like that, I'd watch a fucking Korn video or something. I mean, there are so many other interesting and creative ways that he could have achieved explaining this level of terror, which it is kind of good in explaining the character's terror, but it's not perfect. No, this video's gone on a little longer than I was expecting it to, so I'm going to cut off right there. But Red State's a good film. Watch Red State. It's very good. condemned to hell by Michael Parks in this film. I'm talking about Red State. Now, if you know me, and if you're one of my friends, then you're probably aware of how much I like Kevin Smith. I really don't think he can put a foot wrong. Like, I didn't think that Cop Out was as bad. So I had Red State hyped up in my mind to be this career-shifting milestone for Smith, and then I heard all of the other loads of other people going, "Oh, it's crap. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. It's shoddily shot. It's."
Baby, wake up. We're naked and we're old and sexy. For the last 15 minutes, baby. That's what's been happening. Yeah. Too late now. It's on. Baby, who wants to love me sexy?
Now, this series of videos would probably be as everyone tried to make it out to be. Zack and Miri it's one of the films that I put on when there's nothing that I can really think of to put on. It's a good background film, but it's also a good film if you want to pay attention to it. And so I was really looking forward to seeing Red State. Like, I built it up in my head, and then I read reviews about it, and I watched videos about it. Like, I watched Brad's whole half-hour conversation with Jared when Jared was still involved about Red State,